All right. Hey, friends. Lee Brown here coming at you from the master bedroom at my house here in Harrisburg, North Carolina, because I'm getting my act together for the Realtors legislative meetings, also known as mid-year previously. This is our Prince of meetings. So you remember when Prince had to be the artist formerly known as. These are the meetings formerly known as mid-year, now known as the Realtors legislative meetings. If you've never hung out with me before, I'm about to show you all the tips and tricks to make your week in DC as painless and as productive as possible, because I've been going to these meetings for over a decade now. And the first time I went, I had no idea what was going on. I didn't even know who to ask. I was a very lost little fish swimming in a very large fish bowl. So I want to give you some tips to make this an amazing week. And frankly, if you like to travel, I have got some tips for you because I happen to travel a lot and I pride myself on living out of a small suitcase. But full disclosure, the DC week is a big suitcase week. So I'm going to give you lots and lots of tips. And the scroller here has all of my links for all the stuff I'm going to, well, not all the stuff, most of the stuff I'm going to show you. And if Amazon gives me a nickel, then I'll give it to Realtor Relief Foundation. How about that? Okay. So first of all, let's talk about the meetings. So you need to get your app downloaded. If you're going to the Realtors meetings, you can actually still register at legislative.realtor. And if anybody wants to drop links into the comments for me, hey, Stephanie, I know you will actually, because Stephanie found a great new pair of shoes that is reversible. And I'm going to have to put them on my feet when I see her in DC because we're friends like that. And so in the meantime, hey, Stephanie, drop this in the links for me. So legislative.realtor, you can still register. There's no registration fee for these meetings. Oh, thank you, Linda. Look at you go. High five. And you should know that the biggest expense in DC is DC hotel rooms, which is why you need a conference spouse. And the first tip I'm going to give you is if you're staying with somebody, because we all like to save a few dollars, then always, always pack matches in your vanity kit. And then you will be everybody's favorite roommate ever, and you don't have to run down to the lobby. And so that's why you want to take matches in your vanity kit. We used to have smokers around, but I don't think anybody smokes anymore. So that's the first thing I want to tell you about. And hey, Kimmy, and the second thing, Stephanie, drop your link for your new shoes in the comments if you want to add it. I didn't buy any yet. So you got to download your app. Now, once you download the app for the NAR legislative meetings, it says Homefront on it. You can set your schedule in here, y'all. That's wildly important because at some point, somebody's going to say, hey, meet me for coffee or lunch or supper. And if you are disorganized and maybe over a promiser like I am, then you're going to accidentally double and triple book all of your stuff. So make sure you set your own schedule in here. And then if you're an old person like me, print the whole thing out and then you can find it later. And you'll also be able to see who the speakers are for different sessions. And speaking of that schedule, let me just go to Lee Brown's schedule and I will give y'all some things you don't want to miss when it comes to schedule before we even get busy packing our stuff. Let me tell you what you want to go to. First of all, if you are a CRS designee, that's the Certified Residential Specialist, the council formerly known as is now the RRC. They have an education track where you can do tons of CRS education. Spoiler alert, if you don't have your designation yet, you can get credits for going to these classes. If you are a member of the Women's Council of Realtors, hashtag leaders made here, there's also a Women's Council track where you can go get some Women's Council leadership education as well. And that's all happening at mid-year. I mean, it's wild how much is going on. So the first thing you'll see me at is the RRC, Residential Real Estate Council member welcome reception. That's going to be on Saturday the 6th. That's when I'm getting to town. Now, you should also know that this is a networking place for referrals, but also just for camaraderie. Talk to some other professionals, see what's happening in their market, bring it back here. I'm personally excited to see what I can bring back to Concord and also say hey to all my referral partners from all these years. And then let's look at what's happening on, I should put my glasses on. Oh, wait, speaking of glasses, any of y'all have readers? Who's a reader wearer? That's my medium age friends. Hey, what's up? I even got the bifocal contacts. They don't do diddly squat, so I had to buy some more readers. I buy them by the 6-pack. And the thing I love about these ones is that they are also blue blockers, so I don't get headaches staring at the screen. A really great way to be a friend, put multiple pairs in your bag. And then if you see a friend struggling, hand it a pair of readers. Can I tell y'all, I'm president of North Carolina right now. And at least 3 times this year, I have had a member of the audience hand me their glasses because I was too vain to wear mine up on the stage and then I needed them. So protect somebody else's vanity and bring your readers. Now, On Sunday, May 7th, there will be the Federal Legislative and Political Forum. You're going to want to go to that. That's absolutely great political, legislative, regulatory information. It applies to your local market. And then there's some other stuff happening. The Realtors RRC member updates going on. You will see state leadership idea. I'm going to go in there and look out for North Carolina as a large state, go get some ideas for what I can be doing. There's a session called the Advocacy Scoop. You're going to get both sides of the aisle perspective. If you are going to be in DC, you're obviously dialed into the politics of real estate. And you should always remember it's not from one side or the other, it's from both sides. And where we find common ground is in the realtor world. And so when you go hear both sides, it helps you develop a better talking point. And then if you are a young person, young at heart, or just identify as young, the YPN event is on Sunday night, and you need a ticket for YPN. So go in to legislative.realtor and buy a ticket, because if you don't have one, Rob Reuter will do to you what he does to me all the time and say, Lee Brown, you're not on the list. And then I'm that member who argues and says, I know I bought a ticket, I know I RSVP, but I can't find it. And then usually I'm right and Rob's wrong, but sometimes he might be right. So anyway, go look it up, get your ticket if you want to go. And by the way, if you have a ticket and don't need it anymore, maybe your cousin is sick and you can't go to DC, post it on Facebook or post it in the hub. You may find somebody that will take your ticket or buy it from you. Or if you can't find one because it's sold out, you can ask somebody else. And then let's look at what's happening on Monday. All right, Monday, the general session is with a reporter, which should be pretty interesting to listen to. And then we have the Regulatory Issues Forum. That's all about AI, y'all, and emerging tech. I think you're going to want to be at the Reg Issues talking about AI. I'm freaked out by ChatGPT. Is anybody else checked out? I mean, like, it's freakish what's going on. And we in real estate love to be on the bleeding edge of things. So make sure that you are in that space so you can see where we're going. That is on Monday morning. And then we have a big lunch with the Riding with the Brand, which is our theme this year. There's a backyard party lunch on Monday. Then you get to hear your candidates for the 2024 First Vice President of NAR. That is Kevin Brown and Leo Koch. You can hear them take questions. And then, I'm so excited, the RPAC Hall of Fame ceremony is on Monday at 5. And I'm going to see so many members of my state get inducted. And I will be like their mama and they'll say, hold still. And I'm going to make all the photos and hug them and love on them because it is amazing. So go support the people who support this business. Then we've got Tuesday, and you'll have another hugely valuable session, Residential Economic Issues and Trends. Now, if you're watching this and you're not a realtor, you're like, Lee Brown, this sounds dreadful. Get to the good stuff. This is good stuff if you're a nerd. But this is really important because you want to be able to talk about what's happening. We know the conversation is going to be supply. It's going to be interest rates. It's going to be affordability. It's going to be housing types and zoning. All that's going to be talked about. Should be an amazing session. And look who's on the speaker lineup. Lawrence Yoon. You guys love Dr. Yoon. Are we the only profession whose economist is a rock star? Just going to ask that out loud. And then if you are a commercial broker, commercial economic issues, I expect that one to be a hot tamale this year since the commercial market is on the edge when it comes to office space. Warehouse is doing great. Office is challenged. Going to be some great conversation about that. And then there's the Treasurer's Budget Forum. If you want to go ask questions about the proposed dues increase or about what's happening with our budget, that session happens on Tuesday afternoon. And then the Women's Council will have an RPAC reception for their members that afternoon. And then for the first time ever, the Realtors are taking over Nationals Ballpark. This is on Tuesday, the Realtor National Block Party. We've invited every member of Congress and all their staff. There'll be a band and ballpark food, and you're all going to get a Realtor t-shirt. So what you should know is that we have these Realtor t-shirts, and I would say pack one if you have one. I know I'm in the dark right now because I don't know how to do lighting in my bedroom. So I have one of my favorite Realtor t-shirts. That R stands for Realtor. I'll bring it just in case they hand me some XX or some extra small, because I'm kind of in between the XX and the extra smalls. And I want to make sure I have a Realtor shirt. So make sure that you're ready for the Realtors National Block Party. And you should also know that at that big event, you can't bring your pocketbook. So I'm going to make a suggestion to you as you're packing that you get you a pair of breeches that have lots of pockets in them. I have my little white cocktail breeches on because, frankly, it's after Labor Day. I mean, before Labor Day and after Easter, so I can wear white right now. And these are, well, we call them white-ish. I really need to bleach them or something, but they got lots of pockets. And since I can't have a pocketbook at the National Stadium, you'll see me in my cargo croppers here. So that's my very sage advice to you. Y'all gonna be strung out if you can't have a pocketbook and you don't have a pocket on your body. And ladies, don't we love a dress with pockets in it? I mean, you could try that, but something might come flopping out if you start dancing to the song. So let's talk then. You've got, that's Tuesday, going to be a really big deal. Wednesday, we have our regional caucuses. If you don't know which caucus you belong to, ask me. I'm in Region 4. That's North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Kentucky. And the regional vice presidents lead those sessions. Ours is the amazing Amy Hedgecock. She's a rock star. And then we get some updates from what's been going on before we go to the board of directors meeting, which is on Thursday. Now, if you're not on the national board of directors, you can still go and sit in the gallery and be a part of the conversation and see what we're discussing as the world's largest grassroots organization. Now, that being said, if you're ready and you stuck with me, let's get to the packing tips because I know you're ready for this. Now, I already mentioned to you, you can't take a pocketbook into the Realtors National Block Party, but I found a little bag at Rothy's. So, you know, I love my Rothy's shoes. I didn't actually find it. Spoiler alert. Karen Carr from Savannah had one, and I was envious. And so I had to go to the Rothy's website. Rothy's are the best shoes ever. Y'all know I have this whole hashtag Realtors wear Rothy's because they mesh up and you can't hurt them. They're machine washable. So I carry these for in between meetings because I do like to wear grown-up shoes in meetings. But because of COVID, frankly, I can't wear heels as long as I used to could. And so Rothy's also makes a machine washable pocketbook, and it folds up really nice and tight in the bottom of my backpack. So then if I'm going to go out to supper with some friends and talk about, you know, residential and commercial trends, because that's what we talk about at supper, I can take a little pocketbook instead of my backpack. So those are from Rothy's, and I do have a $20 off code for you in my list. And then speaking of, let's just do the clothing part first. It might yet rain while we're there because I feel like it has rained every week this year. I've got my little Realtor rain jacket. Look, it's got the R on it. You can get Realtor stuff either in the Expo and go on day one. Okay, so seriously big advice here. The first minute the Expo opens, get your fanny in there because you will miss out on all the normal sized things and it will be stuck on extra small and triple X. And you'll be all sad horns because you didn't get something. So hustle in there and buy all the Realtor branded stuff you want. Steve says Rothy has men's shoes now. Well, that's good. I might have to buy some for somebody in my house. And so get yourself a rain jacket that you can roll up in your backpack and also have a jacket because it can get chilly in these conference rooms. And I like to lovingly reference my little camo jacket as the Bob Turner collection. Somebody can tag Bob Turner in or Wendy so they can laugh again because this is literally how it makes me think of Bob Turner. But this just came from the Realtor store, that store.realtor. And I don't know if you can get it now in time for DC. I guess you probably could if you put express shipping on it. But you can generally buy this stuff in the Expo if you hustle over there. And if you don't want to wear a camo jacket because you're not cool like me, or because you don't like to hide, because you know when I put it on, you can't see me, right? Carry a big old scarf. And I like my big old, it says cashmere, but I'm not convinced scarf. This came from the Scarf King. And y'all know he's in the Expo every year, probably the biggest selling vendor we have at the Realtor events. But this giant scarf also acts like a blanket. If I am cold in a conference room, I can wrap up and survive the air conditioning. And you know why we keep the air conditioning down, right? It's so you people won't go to sleep, especially after lunch. So that's why it's cold. And if you complain, that's not going to do you nary bit of good because as long as it takes to get those rooms heated up or cooled down, you're just going to have to survive, okay? So make sure you get yourself a nice little scarf that can also double as a blanket in the bottom of your backpack. All right, speaking of backpacks, let me show y'all my back. Oh, no, it's another clothing yet. Excuse me. Gentlemen, I don't know what y'all are going to do, but really, I'm jealous of how y'all roll because you can always send your blazers and your neckties down to the cleaners at the hotel. And basically one outfit can turn into 14 things with nothing. And us ladies just don't have that option. And so I'm always going to carry a little polyester shift that I can ball up in the bottom of my backpack and have an emergency dress in the event that something goes awry because life. See me? Does anybody see me? My internet clipped up there. It's raining here at the house. Did I come back? Oh, Lord. Okay, so anyway, this is my emergency dress in the bottom of my backpack. If you see me in this little cute dress, you can be like, Lee Brown, do you need some help? That is your alert that I need to be looked after. Because frankly, I'm good at looking after other people, but looking after Lee Brown is a daggum challenge. And where did I get it? You know, I buy everything at Marshall. So before you ask me where I bought all my stuff, I'll just go ahead and tell you I bought it all at Marshall's. And speaking of what you should wear, so if you've never been to the Realtors legislative meetings before, I will tell you this is the conversation that happens behind the scenes more than anything else. What am I supposed to wear? This is a business event, y'all. So as much as I love your little rock concert t-shirts and holy jeans, save those for at home when you're going to rock concerts where you can wear holy jeans. When you're at the Realtors legislative meetings, we are carrying homeownership on our shoulders. We are talking to legislative officials. We are talking to staff members. We are there to be the face of real estate. So I want you to wear business casual, but look professional. And so you can look professional for $9.99 at the Marshall, okay? And so I've got my little dress here. Y'all gonna be jealous of it because it was last season at Marshall's, which means it was probably 4 seasons ago in the real stores. And I point this out not just because I'm cheap, but because you don't have to, I'm not gonna say like a commercial, you don't have to spend a fortune to look good, because you don't, but you do have to look put together. And I will tell you that for what we do for the public, the way that we elevate their financial freedom in the future, we need to look like we're carrying that kind of a burden when we get together. So step it up, people, step it up. All right, so that's what you want to bring. Now, gentlemen, if you bring pocket squares and cufflinks, I mean, extra credit. Just going to point that out, extra credit. So speaking of the, I said I had my rain jacket. I'm also going to have my little umbrella, because if you're in the headquarters hotel, you're going to be going back and forth to the convention center. You're probably going to go outside to get a bite to eat. You might have to go outside going to the Realtors National Block Party. It'll be rain or shine. So put a little backpack together. We'll put an umbrella together. Probably can't take that to the stadium now that I say that. But anyway, you should have an umbrella just to be smart. Okay, so now let's move on to some other very important meeting items. And I was going to talk about my backpack. I love this OGO backpack, and I know we all got one at leadership this past year, but I wear something until it's completely wore slap out. This OGO backpack came from store.realtor, and it was cheaper than the OGO on Amazon, and it even comes with the Realtor logo on it, and it's holding up pretty good, but I like it because it's got all these little pockets in it where I can hide things. So what's in my backpack, you say? Funny you should ask. Let me show you. This pocket has lots and lots of business cards, and my rule on business cards, I'm not looking to hand out 500. I'm looking to have 5 really good conversations with people I've never met before. I want to hear about what they did before real estate, where they're located, and ideally their referral markets come to and from Charlotte so that there's a future chance for us to conduct business. I'm also going to have in here some mints. If I hand you a mint, it's nothing personal, but it might be. And then I've also got in here, my laptop lives in this pocket. I keep my scarf on it so I can recognize my bag. And I'm going to show y'all one of the most important purchases you can possibly make. So tune into me right now, friends. I'm going to save you a trip to the front desk. If I can find it. What did I, I know where it's at. Look. So in the real world, I like how y'all just hanging out with me here on live, just listening to me talk to myself. All right. Seriously, I just had it in my hand yesterday. What did I do with it? If I left it in that hotel room yesterday, I'm going to be upset. Anyway, they're called RFID sleeves. There it is. So on Amazon, there's a ton of these, and it says RFID. You know what you do with this? You're going to put your room key in here, because if your hotel room key sits next to your cell phone, it is going to get deactivated. And then you're going to be in a moment when you need to get into your room, and you're going to look down at the front desk, and it will be a line 25 realtors long, which is basically 3.5 months, because you're going to have to talk to all of them, and then you can't get to the front desk. And all you needed was to run in your room for one thing. Get these RFID sleeves. These are so cheap. These are so helpful. And frankly, if you want to do some good referral working, get some of these and have some spares and put your business name on the side and the business card and hand them out. Wonderful way to provide a resource to other people and save yourselves a ton of headaches at the realtor meetings. Now, also in my backpack, I have in the front pouch, I have some cords. You always want to have cords, right? There's my spare reading glasses. Oh, look, I have my ring pop because my president-elect for North Carolina, Tony Harrington, said I was his work wife this year, and he gave me a ring pop to show the moment, and I love him for that. I've also got candy in here because I'm a candy person. I like Necco wafers because apparently I'm a 90-year-old. So if you ask me for my Necco wafers, you will have to bring me a referral because I'm very tight with them. And also got some notebooks in here so I can keep notes. I have to write everything down. I have 3 notepads in my backpack at any time because if I don't write it down, it's probably gone. I've also got some tissues in here because if somebody's sniffling, I'd like for them to please stop. And I've also got some of these fruit bars. I always have some calories in here because you may not have time to eat. And then I have my Realtor tchotchkes that I get at various and sundry expos and events. And if I see a new member or a new person who's never been to the meetings before, I'm going to give them a free something if I spot them because I want them to feel good about being at the Realtor meetings. So, in fact, yesterday I gave away a pair of earrings I was wearing because, well, I was never going to wear them again and she liked them. So, speaking of having some snacks in your bag, you'll find me with nuts in my bag. And I'm going to tell you, carry a couple of protein bars. I'm talking about food a lot because at these meetings, y'all, we run and the meeting starts so early and then you stack them in. And even if you're not on the committee, most of them are open. And that means you can go sit in the gallery and hear what the business is that the realtors are doing. You can find out what we're doing in different sides of the business, property management, investment, second home and resort. And then, of course, there's all the different financing things going on. You can go observe and learn. And if you are really taking advantage of these meetings, you're not going to have time to sit down and eat. So put some food in your bag because I don't want you passing out because that's going to take up even more of our time than you stopping to eat. Now, I did find a new protein drink, and I'm not much of a protein drink person. Obviously, when you look at these guns, it's called Slate, and I like the dark chocolate one. It doesn't have any lactose in it, but it's 20 grams of protein and 100 calories. And if you know me, I like clean eating. So I refuse to look at the ingredients on this because if I see what's in it, I probably won't ever drink one again. But 20 grams of protein in the morning gets me started. And I'm going to run all day because otherwise I'll treat coffee as breakfast. And that's probably not a healthy attitude. Now, speaking of this, that you should know that those of us that are experienced people going to DC, we call Instacart and set up for all of this to come to the hotel when we get there, put it in that little room fridge and have some snacks and treats in there. You can stuff your bags. You don't have to fly with all of this. You can have it brought up in there. And if you have a friend, you could put your things together and save a delivery fee. It's another way to work amongst yourselves. Now, speaking of the food piece, I'll go into the supplements portion of my packing week. People carry sickness around. Last year in DC, I won't name which state it was, but one state brought a certain C-19 illness with them, and they spread it around amongst us. So I take a lot of vitamin C just in case somebody didn't know how they were feeling. So Nature Made Well Blends. I don't know why I have this one, probably because it was on sale. So these are the ones that fizz up in your drink. And then also I'm the middle-aged person. So if you're not medium age, you won't understand this. My friend, Charisma Dockery Smith, she's the president-elect for the Canopy Realtors here in Charlotte. Charisma gave me a secret last week. I love her. We were talking about hot flashes because, yes, that's how interesting realtors can be. We talk about hot flashes and night sweats. She said, Lee Brown, try some evening primrose oil. And I'm going to tell you what, that has helped a tremendous amount. And so I'm going to be bringing my evening primrose oil so that y'all won't have to watch my face completely melt off like that guy in Raiders of the Lost Ark. If you remember the bad Nazi when his face melted off. So I'm using some evening primrose oil. So if you know somebody who's hot flashing, that could be your kindness to them. Now, my kindness to you is because when realtors get together, they like to have adult beverages and relax and talk amongst themselves. And sometimes they talk amongst themselves and have adult beverages so much that in the morning, they don't quite feel like themselves. And frankly, none of us are 22. And there might be a 22-year-old realtor out there, but they don't tend to be the legislative type. They'll work their way into that. And some of y'all still think you're 22. I love you for that. But if you take activated charcoal an hour before you go to your receptions and your caucuses and stuff, you won't have headaches the next morning. So this is my gift I will give to you. And yes, I'm kind of a hippie when it comes to this stuff because I really don't like the big pharma things. And I also don't want to overdo, but I don't want to feel like junk in the morning. So get yourself some activated charcoal. Just make sure it's made in the U.S. That's my only advice to you on supplements. Okay, now back to my backpack goodies. The other thing that will help you is if you talk too much Anybody talk too much like I do? Hey, what's up? Make sure that you have this. It's called the Speaker's Friend. It's Fisherman's Friend. These are a mint that I don't know why it works, but we call it the Speaker's Friend because those of us that speak and teach for a living, when your voice gives out, if you take one of these, I don't know why, I don't know how, but it'll come back long enough for you to survive. And I'm going to tell you, by the time we get to Wednesday and Thursday, your voice will be about give out from talking. So make sure you've got some of these. If you buy the original flavor, I am not at fault because they are nasty, nasty, nasty. I buy the mint flavor because I can trust it. When I was on my son's band trip last week, I bought 2 other flavors. They're not as good as mint. Do not buy original flavor or you will hate me forever and it won't even be my fault. And now also in my little trusty bag here, I have these that are not Ziploc bags. They are reusables. They're by Stasher. And that way I don't have to throw away as many Ziploc bags. So it's my effort to be somewhat more sustainable in honor of Green Eileen. Make sure you've got some kind of an adapter or charger that's got multiple ports in it, multiple USBs. And that way you could also be a good friend when somebody else needs to charge. And I will say that last week at our Region 4 meeting, Share Powers had a cool one that was multiple actual plugs and a bunch of USBs. She's going to make lots of friends. And so get yourself a little place to keep all your electronic goodies. I also have in here a flash drive in case I need to share a slide deck or get some information from somebody. Now, let's see what else is in Lee Brown's bag. You want to see what else is in my bag? Well, let's move over to, one more thing is in my backpack. And I actually shared this last year. This is CBD, and there's no THC in it, so don't y'all panic or anything. It's pain relief roll-on, and I use this because I am a runner, and I hurt all the time. And I bought this from a realtor who owns this company called Prime Sunshine. His name is, I don't know if I'm supposed to put his name on here or not, but I'll tell you if you DM me who sells it. It's amazing. And actually, one of our realtor colleagues was having a back problem last year, and I didn't put it on for him because that would have been tacky. I reached it to him and he went and put some on and he said he felt better. Maybe it was placebo, but that's fine. All right, so let's talk about what else is in. Okay, so speaking of why I hurt all the time, I have a group on the internet, on Facebook. It's called Realtor Runners and Walkers. If you are a realtor and you want to run or walk with us, that's the Facebook page where we will post what time and from what locations we're heading out. Now, we don't say where we're going because that might be a security issue, but I'm also going to vet before I let you into the page if you are a realtor. I don't check if you're a runner or walker. I figure if you're one of us, you're cool. There is so much benefit to networking through activity. And generally, it's either at 4:30 or 5 o'clock. We'll head out from one of the hotels. And from where we're located, it's ideal to go do a mall run at sunrise. It's gorgeous. It's worth it. Anybody who's ever been out with a group of realtors before can tell you it's the best in the world. And any pace is welcome. We just try to start together and make sure that nobody's all by themselves because I don't want anybody left behind. But if you're a fast person, you can take off and go fast. If you're medium, you cannot go as fast. And if you are meandering, we welcome you to meander too. But what I will tell you is that because we go in the dark, you need a light. And this is one I bought on Amazon for like 19 bucks. It's a rechargeable lamp strap. You've seen this on my videos when I'm showing it. Please have a light if you're going to come out to run with us because we have to stay safe. And it's very important. And you should have one anyway. But can I show y'all? Like, this is new. I found the best shoes ever. And as a medium-aged runner, my feet hurt all the time. I've had a bunionectomy. I mean, I can talk about how awful my feet are. I used to wear Hokas and they discontinued my model. So I decided to try the On Clouds and I went through model after model after model. Finally tried the brand new Cloud Surfers. Game changer. I actually want to put them on because my feet are like, oh, hello. So these are the Cloud Surfers. There's a ton of cushion in them and they feel so good. And it's wide at the top and not too tight. It's more narrow in the middle. Can't tell y'all enough how much I love these new shoes. In fact, I'm going to buy probably all of them because they're going to discontinue it since I love it. And I'm fully aware of that. All right. So now let's move into the packing bag. And speaking of those mornings when you wake up feeling less than, if you have bags under your eyes, anybody is a bag wearer. The only bag we want is the backpack or the little Rothy's bag. I use this Braytox Insta, and there is a coupon code for this. They graciously gave me 10% off. And y'all, a couple of years ago when I shared this for the first time, we sold them out like when I ran this video, which was hilarious. And they asked me what was going on. I said, we just all A, have bags, and B, are realtors in her vein, and C, wanted 10% off. So he gave me a coupon for you. You can use it again. I use it too. Hey, I don't get free stuff, but I'll share the coupon. A dab of this, like a wee tiny bit, like a little pea amount under your eyes, and you split the pea between the two eyes, will suck those bags right up, and you will feel and look better. It's cheaper than Botox, and you don't have to stick it into your face either. Who's that by? Brazilian Skin. Freaking love that stuff. And speaking of things that we love, my girlfriend Keon Aldrich, she is the treasurer or secretary or something for South Carolina. She'll be president in 25, and she's from Florence, South Carolina. Keon found me a new gadget, and I freaking love it. So these are called, what are they called, Keon? Let's see. They are called leak locks, right? That can mean a lot of things when you're medium age, but they're toiletry skins. And so this little thing, if you have like a container of contact solution or shampoo or conditioner that comes loose in your bag, this thing stretches out. It's hard to do it while I'm talking, and goes over the whole thing. So now your leaks are contained, and I have tested and tried this on planes. It doesn't leak anymore. And that was like a couple of bucks. So thank you, Keon. That's my new secret. And especially for those of y'all that are taking a full size because you're taking a check bag, now you can safely pack it. And frankly, again, not use as many Ziploc bags, which is what I used to keep my stuff in. So that link is in the link that's scrolling, so you know what Keon made me buy. And speaking of South Carolina leaders, Rhea Smith is going to be their president next year. Now, Rhea is amazing. So she was telling me about this Lumi deodorant. I don't know if y'all have seen those ads, but they're a little bit weird on TV. So I wasn't a fan, and Keon, and not like Keon, Rhea said, you have to try it. And I said, all right. So this is that cream deodorant. I mean, just trust me. There's a travel size at the Target, like a little $3.99 size. You can get the big one. And if you have stinky feet, like your runner feet, put a little bit of that on them and they won't stink so bad. But because some of you won't listen to me and you will have stinky shoes, I will tell you these dot-to-dot bags are amazing. I keep my running shoes in these when I travel because it's got some coverage where they can still breathe, but it segregates it from the rest of my bag. So these are really good little packing tools for your shoes. And for those of y'all that have one pair of running shoes, it'll fit like 3 pairs of Rothy's. So there's your conversion ratio. You're welcome. And those little packing cubes, by the way, I've shown y'all these before, but, you know, put all your unmentionables in one of the small ones just to kind of consolidate. It saves a ton of space in your bag. And now I have another big secret. And because this is a business meeting and a lot of people will have on suits and suit jackets, and the ladies will be wearing makeup because they want to look good for the selfies. If you hug anybody, you're going to get foundation on your shoulder. This is amazing. This is the fake Barbasol. This is the Rite Aid version. The plain white Barbasol shave cream, or the version of it, is the secret to getting foundation out of a jacket. So what happens is you hug that nice lady, and now you have some foundation on your shoulder. Put a little bit of this on it, get a dry cloth and rub it. It will bring it right out, whether it's oil-based or water-based. I keep this in my room. And so if you forget some, just ask me and I'll help you get the makeup out of your shoulder, because isn't that what realtors do for each other? And then I always carry a serving of Epsom salts with me, because if we walk too much, especially when we're running around Capitol Hill or around the Nationals ballpark, my feet are going to hurt and I like to soak them. And so this is actually, I know it sounds weird for a realtor meeting, but it's hard to describe how big the meetings are at mid-year, because there are just so many things that realtors do, and it's so broad. And once you dial in, you're going to want to do everything, but you got to make sure that you re-energize so you can bring your best to the meetings the next day. I also keep a little sewing kit in my bag because things will break. So now I'm going to show you the rest of the secrets that Mama Lee will have that y'all will need, and you may have seen me doing in the hallways. In fact, in Orlando, a wonderful member walked over and said, I have a blister. Can you help me? And I said, I got you, boo. And so in my little bag here that lives in my backpack, this is my emergency kit for being your emergency realtor mom, and you're welcome. This is athletic tape. This cost about $2.99. And Heather Osier from Palm Desert, California is the one that told me about this. This is so much better than Band-Aids, because Band-Aids catch all the little stuff at the edge and they're kind of gross and they roll up and come off. This stuff, regular transparent tape, put it on top of your blister and blister no more. It will stop all that friction and rubbing, and it will stay put. It's a godsend. So get a little roll of that in your bag. My little emergency bag also has some hand lotion in case my hands get dry. And I've got some toothpaste and a toothbrush, some more Kleenex, and some hairspray because I'm vain and I always have to have hairspray around. And I'm also always going to have some Advil because somebody's going to be hurting at some point. And I always like to be helpful. I mean, that's honestly one of the ways I've built some really great realtor relationships is having all of my little gadgets and stuff around so I can help somebody that's in need, which is exactly what y'all do for buyers and sellers and for your agents too, if you're a broker. So let me see if I missed anything. That's the last thing I didn't talk about was my medicine bag. And this was very important on the band trip we just got back from because I'm the one that has the Pepto and the Tums and the cough syrup and the motion sickness. We're not going anywhere that would have motion sickness, but I have it too. So I have all the stuff. And so if you are panicked, please just tell me and I will help you not to panic because the biggest thing about these meetings is that they will feel overwhelming and it will feel like you're the only one that doesn't know where to go. I promise you, you're not. And anybody, in fact, I'm looking over here at the comments in this thread. I'm pretty sure all of these people would gladly help you figure out where to go and where to plug in. If you're coming by yourself and you want somebody to sit by, you can sit by anybody you see wearing one of these pins, which I already forgot to mention. This pin right here, my major investor pin for RPAC, that's my admission ticket to several of the major investor events. And so make sure you're wearing yours. And if you're thinking, but Lee Brown, I do not have one of those, we can help you with that too. There will be an RPAC table at the Expo Center and in the general hall. There's usually one at registration as well. So we can help you answer questions and help plug you in. Look, y'all, the first time I came, I was coming just for the meetings for CRS, and Sandra Nickel, who is from Montgomery, Alabama, was the one who was chairing the committee I had been put on. And this is 10 or 11 or something. And I was so grateful that she saw me and welcomed me to the room. So when you're on a committee, you might be intimidated to talk to the chair, but they are glad to have you in the room. So make sure you say hey to them. And even if you're in the gallery to observe and you're not on the committee, say hey to the chair because they'll be glad you're there. And maybe you've brought an anecdote from your market as to what's happening with condo financing. They might be delighted to have that as information for the purposes of the Realtor organization. So just raise your hand and speak up. And I know it's scary, but we were all the first-time attendees one time. And when it comes to reception time, your state may be having a reception, your region may be having a reception, but let's just say you walk by and Illinois is having a reception. You could even walk in the room and see if there's somebody you want to say hey to. They're not going to be ugly to you because we are always glad to see people pop into our receptions for Region 4 and for North Carolina. I'll speak for South Carolina, Tennessee, and Kentucky too. We're always glad to have people come in so that we can get to know each other as fellow realtors and leaders. And again, have these conversations about condo financing and what's happening with the Waters of the U.S. Act and all of these different pieces going on that impact our clients and our communities. So figure out how to be in these conversations and don't be scared. And I will tell you my cell phone number. You ready? 704-507-5500. I will not answer if you call, but if you text me, I'm very likely to text you back after I check forewarn, let's be honest. And so when I get a text, I'm going to figure out where I can help you. Now, maybe I can't, but I got a friend who does. And lean into the Realtor Network, y'all, because after that first time, you're going to come back and you're going to be comfortable. And then you've got to be the one spotting for somebody else that's having that first time event and feels lost. I will also say my first time receptioning at those events, I was by myself because I did not travel with anybody from my state. I was just kind of jumping in on my own, which happens to some leaders. Some people follow the pathway and some of us just kind of dive right in. And Milton Shockley from Greenville, South Carolina saw me because he knew me through the RE/MAX network, which I used to be a part of. And Milton said, come on. And he basically Velcroed me to his hip and he carried me to every reception he could find and introduced me to people. I don't remember hardly any of them. I don't remember where we went, but I remember that Milton was kind enough to take care of me when I was lost. And so I have felt like it was important since then to do the same thing and give it back, which is why I'm giving you all these little oddball random tips here. So if you see Keon, you can thank her for saving you from leaks in your luggage. And if you see Rhea, you can thank her for you not smelling so bad. If you see Stephanie and you tried her reversible shoes, you can thank her for that. She's also the one that came up with Realtors Wear Red on Fridays, which we're not there on a Friday this year, but that's to honor our deployed service members and their families. And let's see if I forgot to thank anybody else. So make sure, here's your last homework assignment. If you want to connect with us for activities outside running and walking, Realtor Runners and Walkers is the Facebook group. Go join it. Invite somebody else to join it. Please come say hey to me when you get to DC. And most importantly, share this video with your local board, with your brokerage, or with somebody who said they're coming for the first time. Let's take some of the fear out so we can get all the information poured in to make real estate better for everybody and make sure we do the American dream right. I'll see you all in DC on May 6th. Thanks for stopping by.